Blog Talk Radio.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا فمن يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وآله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. Alhamdulillah. First of all, before we get started, I want to send a special shout out to Sister Sahar and Sister Samaya in Atlanta, Georgia for promoting our show, Alhamdulillah, for next week. Inshallah, we will be in Atlanta next week. So thank you, sisters, for all your help and contributions. Alhamdulillah. So let's get to it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your brother Muhammad Hard-Truth Smith. Yes, the kufi is on tight. I feel loose, I feel good, and I'm ready to talk tonight, alhamdulillah. And I also want to say hello and greetings and hi, how you doing? Hola, whatever language you speak. If you're not Muslim, hey, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you on. Alhamdulillah, in this society that we live in, there's so much stuff going on. There's so much corruption and so much evil actions, and people being shot by the police, people shooting each other, money not being put into the right parts of the cities, and you have like if you look at our downtown here in Columbus, Ohio, they're beautifying downtown, but yet they're letting the neighborhoods that need the money the most, they're letting them slump, they're letting them fail, and I guess sometimes you say, well, I live here. What can I do? I live here. Now, of course, yes, we give dawah. We call people to Islam, over and over. We want people to be Muslim, but we also wonder if we can make a change any other type of way. Now, granted, as Muslims, we understand that we do not follow any law except the law of Allah Azza wa Jalla. That is our law. Now, there is situations that we're put in, and maybe it's a test from Allah Azza wa Jalla, maybe it's not, Allah knows best. But for instance, you might have a person running for office who might want the Muslim support, and maybe it's a local issue. And there's no killing Muslims involved. There's no attacking people, but it's just a local issue. But say that there may be something that will benefit the community. Allahu Alam. So now, what do we do? Either me, myself, yes, your host, Muhammad Hard-Truth Smith, we're stumped on this. Because me personally, I never voted. I never believed in voting, especially in a democratic society, in a democracy, where the majority wins. And what does that mean? Well, you might say, yeah, well, majority wins mean your best interest of the people. Well, not if democracy is allowing two men to lay with one another. Not if democracy is allowing two women to lay with one another. So it's evil. Allah Azza wa Jal has given us the book. La rayba fi. In it, there is no crookedness. We have our legislations, we have our rulings, we have everything we need in the Quran. And we have the example of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you have to ask yourself, do you play a part, or do you leave yourself vulnerable to the whims of other people, to what they're thinking about, what's going on in their mind? You know, both candidates might say, well, the Muslims didn't raise a hand, so therefore, we're not going to make nothing easy for them. Don't get me wrong, people. I guess I'm playing the devil's advocate here, you know, because we put our trust in Allah Azza wa Jalla. We put our trust in Allah, and that's where we roll with it. We don't get into anything else outside of that. But the fact remains that a lot of us do not have the ability to make hijrah. A lot of us do not have the ability to just pack up our family and move to one of these so-called Muslim lands. And I use the word so-called because at this point, there is no Sharia that I know of. Maybe someone could call in, correct me. You know, I love to be corrected. Alhamdulillah. If someone corrects me, I'm fine with that. But I want to know, you know, what do we do if the people who live in these places are not able to relocate? Now, we're not talking about these individuals who have the ability to get their families out of here and go somewhere and so on and so forth. We're not talking about them. A lot of these individuals, they come here. They leave Dar Islam and come to Dar Kufr, meaning they leave the land of the Islam and they come to the land of the disbelief. I'm sorry, even if my country was war-torn, I don't think I could leave a Muslim country and come to a country of disbelief. And that's just the hard truth. We'll be right back, inshallah.
The Hard Truth is sponsored by Ask a Muslim. If you want to know how to fix your car, ask a mechanic. If you want to know about the law, ask a lawyer. And if you want to know about Islam, ask a Muslim. Bringing the truth about Islam one person at a time. Visit the website at www.askamuslim.com or call them toll free 1-855-968-2756.
Now, what I would like to do, I would like to read to you a fatwa given by Sheikh Munajid. And let me pull it up for you here, inshallah. And we will get into this a little deeper. Let's see what the Sheikh says first, and then find out where we go from here, inshallah. So the Sheikh says, the question was asked, what is the ruling on democracy and taking a leadership role in the parliament or other levels of the democratic government? What is the ruling regarding voting for someone in democracy? How was the Islamic State organized and governed in the classical times? Now, evidently this person is from UK or England or somewhere in Europe, and their parliament will be like our Congress. So we change the words. What is the ruling on democracy and taking leadership and role in Congress or other levels of democratic government? Now, the Sheikh, first he praises Allah Azza wa Jalla, and then he says, democracy is man-made. It's a man-made system. meaning ruled by the people for the people. Thus it is a country, thus it is contrary to Islam, because rules for Allah, the Most High, the Almighty, and it is not permissible to give legislative rules for any human being, no matter what he is. Now, let's stop there. Excuse me. Let me take a little sip of water. Now, here it is. The Sheikh brings out something very important that a lot of times we don't think about. Democracy is man-made. Democracy is something that was written by the people for the people, as it says in the Constitution. We do not know what's best for us. Allah knows what's best for us. I'll give you an example. If you had a Muslim country, and we talked about this the other day, that if we had a Muslim country where there was Sharia, or we say here in America, say we had one state. Out of all the states in America, we had one state. The U.S. government said, you know what? We're going to give you Muslims one state, just one. And we want to see how you're going to govern that state. And so we implement Sharia. I can about guarantee you that the crime rate in that state, even if they gave us the worst state in the United States of America, I can about guarantee that the crime rate will do this. It will go down and go down and go down. Now, when the people see the crime rate going down, I can guarantee you something else. That a lot of the people, Muslim and non-Muslim, will seek to live in this state, in this environment. Because some people might think that Sharia law is very harsh and very cut and dry. Well, guess what? It's going to make someone think twice about committing a heinous act. It's going to make somebody think twice about stealing something, about committing adultery and fornication, which is so amazing to me because so many people nowadays, they think that committing adultery and fornication is okay as long as their spouse does not find out. That is the most amazing thing to me. But a lot of people don't know it is in the law. There is a law that has outlawed adultery in America. Why is it not practiced? Why so many people do it? Fornication. So many people do it, so the law does not enforce it. So I guess if everybody just went around killing everybody, they wouldn't enforce that either. That's sickness. That's all, just a sickness. So let's move on. The Sheikh says that democracy is contrary to Islam because rules is for Allah, the Most High, the Almighty. It is not permissible to give legislative rules to any human being, no matter what he is. Now, we give an example. Let's go back to the homosexuality. It's just the most easiest thing to talk about. If it is against Allah Azza wa Jal for two men to sleep together or get married or whatever they are trying to accomplish, then who are we as human beings to try to tell someone it's okay now? I mean, you're going to tell me that Allah Azza wa Jal says it's not okay, but you want to come back and say it's okay. You know, it's mind-blowing. It makes my head just want to just shake and go on. It's sick. But you find the people making these rules. I tell you people, I cannot say it enough. Islam is the cure for the sicknesses that we face in this world today. So the Sheikh says, it says in Al-Masul al-Dayan wal-Madhabi al-Mu'asira, undoubtedly the democratic system is one of the modern forms of shirk in terms of obedience and following our legislation, as it denies the sovereignty of the Creator and his absolute right to issue laws, and ascribes that right to human beings. Allah says in interpretation, you do not worship besides him, but only names which you have named, you and your fathers, for which Allah set down no authority. The command is for none but Allah. He has commanded that you worship none but him. That is the true straight religion, but most men know not. So it's a shirk. This is what we call shirk al-ta'a. Shirk al-ta'a means that you are associate partners with Allah through obedience. Through obedience. Meaning you are prepared to obey someone over Allah. And you are giving in to that system of shirk. You know, the people say, oh, come on, Muslim, let's get in, let's do this, let's do that. And a lot of Muslims, you know, especially a lot of our brothers who think it's okay to shave their beards and so on and so forth, they run and vote. They run to the voting place and they vote. Now, Allahu Akbar, I don't know of any room to say that there is a reason you can vote for something lesser, and Allah knows best. If we look back to the days of the Prophet ﷺ, there was shura. Now, there was shura. But shura was based off of Quran and Sunnah. Meaning, if there was a shura meeting and someone brought up in a meeting, well, we need to make a decision on should we sell alcohol. They will revert back to the book and say this is haram. We cannot decide on that. We cannot say that this is something we can do. If they refer back about anything, whatever was brought to the table has to coincide with the book or has to coincide with the Sunnah. Give you an example. Say that a person said he wanted to, let's say a situation was going on where they wanted to cut the ground and lead a body of water to another body of water to create some type of stream to help irrigate the lands. Well, if there's nothing in the Quran or Sunnah saying that it's something you cannot do, then a fatwa is issued and it is allowed, and they cut the ground. But if you say, well, I want to go through this town and kill all these Christian people because they're not becoming Muslim, you can't do it. Unless you are at war with these people, you don't have the right to do it. So this is what I mean. This is shura. So shura is the people that come together and they have counsel. They have counsel based on the book, based on the kitab, based on the Quran, and based on the hadith of the Prophet. So they have counsel. And then it's no how many say yay, how many say nay. It's none of that. They have counsel to try to come up with the best verdict that coincides with the Quran and the Sunnah. This is how we have shura. It's not democracy. People try to say it's democracy. It's not democracy. It's not. You know, now you can have something like stratagems of war or business where you say, well, I have 5 Muslim brothers and there's 5 of us and we want to make a decision. Should we export or should we deal with agriculture? So we have these two things. And maybe two people say, well, let's deal agriculture. The other three say import, export. That's fine. The reason why that's fine is not something that is religious based. It does not change the religion. It does not take away from the religion. That is something that we deal with based on economical terms, but it does not make you change your religion. It does not make you conform to something outside of your religion. It is a type of voting that is permissible. But for instance, when a person becomes in the office of the Constitution, Congress, or whatever, the judicial system, executive, or legislative system, they have to take an oath. They have to pledge to the flag. And for people who don't know what pledge is, it's the word in Arabic for pledge is bayat. You have to take allegiance. How can you take allegiance to the kuffar? Think about it. How do you take allegiance to the kuffar? Can you take allegiance to the kuffar? Absolutely not. Because in bayat, you have to do what? Submitna wa ata'na. You have to hear and obey. So if you're not ready to, when some of the brothers go to the military and they send them Muslims, they don't have the ability to tell, well, at least I don't think they have the ability because I don't understand why they do it, but do they have the ability to tell their superiors, I'm not fighting against them, those are Muslims. 9 times out of 10, they're going to blow you away. Because they're going to feel like, well, you're siding with our enemy. So therefore, you must be an enemy. Think about it, people. So now, this guy who has this Muslim name that says he's Muslim and he joins the military and he goes fight against Muslims because he gave his bayat, and maybe he's on the battlefield and he's having this internal struggle within himself. And then finally, he goes out and he starts to kill Muslims. See, we have to be able to put these things into perspective. We got to put it in perspective so that we can understand what's really going on. Because a lot of times, they're pulling a wool over our face. We can't see. We don't have no understanding because someone is hiding the truth from us. They're hiding the truth from us. I don't know why people call me when they know I'm on the air. I guess no one thinks about that, alhamdulillah. So I'll just let them know I'm on air, inshallah. Maybe they get with me later, inshallah. Okay, so let's finish. So the Sheikh says that the democratic system is shirk. And it gives you why, because in terms of obedience and following our legislations, as it denies the sovereignty of the Creator and his absolute right to issue laws. See, the problem is, people, you have to understand Tawheed. If you don't understand Tawheed, then your religion will not be complete. People look at Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, and that's as far as they go. Tawheed gets deeper than that. It's not just the oneness of Allah, but you have the rububiyyah, you have the uluhiyyah, you have the asma wa sifat. What is the rububiyyah? It's the oneness of his lordship. It is the oneness of saying that he is the creator of all things. He is the Lord of all things. Everything returned back to Allah, which most people who believe in God, as far as the Christians, Jews, and the Muslims, agree to this. But where the problem comes in is in the uluhiyyah. This is where the problem comes in the oneness of his divinity in ibadah. It is worship. Because the reason why we differ on this is because what we're talking about here. Other groups will say, yes, I can deal with the democratic system. The Muslims say, no, we cannot. We must keep the law of God. There's no getting around it. I tell people all the time, this war against the Muslims is not just because they hate Muslims. Yeah, of course they hate Muslims. A lot of what y'all said they would pray like you want to share. It's not because they just hate the Muslims. Yeah, they hate the Muslims. MashaAllah. But also you have to understand there is something standing in the way of this one world government, of this one world democracy. And it is the law of Allah. Exactly what it is. Some people are afraid to say what it is. Some people aren't, but that's just what it is. We're reading this, inshallah. Okay. So the Shaykh goes on to say, the Shaykh goes and say,
you do not worship besides him, but only names which you have named or forged, you and your fathers, for which Allah has sent down. The command or the judgment is for none but Allah. He has commanded that you worship none but him. That is the true straight religion, but most men know not. And this is in Surah Yusuf, Surah 12, Ayat 40.
So the Shaykh, he backs up his point with a Quranic ayat. You know, and that is what we have to understand, is that our Tawheed, our Uluhiyya, means is your oneness of worship is only for Allah Azza wa Jalla. Obedience is only for Allah Azza wa Jalla. Not democracy takes you away from that. These voting take you away from that.
Because people are voting with their nafs.
Well,
they're voting with their desires.
They're voting with their limited knowledge. You know,
yeah,
we don't have the knowledge like Allah Azza wa Jalla has. So inshallah, we're going to move down, inshallah. The decisions for okay, so in the end quote, the Shaykh says this has been discussed in detail on number. He gives a number. Secondly, the one who understands the true nature of the democratic system and the ruling thereon, then he nominates himself or someone else for election approving of this system and is working with it, is in grave danger, because the democratic system is contrary to Islam, and approving of it and participating in it are actions that imply apostasy and being beyond the pale of Islam. Wow. We just discussed that. We just got finished talking about that. Oh. Because it goes back to the fact the majority wins. And the majority, it could be shirk. It could be immoral behavior, like we said. 2 men get married.
So just because it's with a democratic system, you got majority of these people who say that it's okay for 2 men to marry, 2 women to marry, cohabitate, that it's okay all of a sudden.
That's what they believe.
Which is contrary to the law.
And I'm gonna tell you something.
Of Allah.
I'm gonna tell you something. Yeah. A lot of this is a point I want to. We was talking about submitting to what I talked about, hear and obey. Mm-hmm. You know, when you give your pledge of allegiance to the flag or whatever you pledge to, you're saying I'm here and I'm obeying. Submit to what I talk about, right? Now, how many? I'm gonna give you an example. Barack Obama came out. I am totally against gays. A few months later, because he wanted that vote, he endorsed the gay community. It shouldn't even be a community, but it is. He endorsed them. Look at all of these governors around these different states who do not accept homosexuality. But because they pledged, they have no choice but to accept the judicial ruling that's been handed down from the federal government.
The democratic, subhanAllah,
the democratic vote
of the Kamalut, of the people of Lot.
And we're not here gay bashing. We're just,
that's a term. That's a term. We're not going to even engage in that term.
Why?
Because that's a terminology that they made
I
up
don't
as
care.
a protection.
Listen,
So you don't have to defend it. There's nothing to defend. There's nothing to defend.
We're not gay bashing. We're telling you the truth.
Count the loop.
The bottom line is, I'm not going to allow them to dictate what type of words I use. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to use the words I want to use. If I want to use gay bashing, I'm going to use gay bashing.
That's what they use.
I don't care. They say hi and hello too, and we say hi and hello sometimes, right? They say water, we say water. I don't get into the word game, because that's just word games. Now it depends on the context of you using something. I don't get into that. You know, if it is what it is, they want to say what they want to say, I'm gonna say what I want to say. You understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, my point is, this is just so easy to depict. It's so easy to tear down. This is why we're calling it what it is. It's easy to tear down. It is haram, it is filthy, it is immoral for two men to sleep together. That's just what it is. It's the truth. Now, we can go on to something different. We talk about alcohol. Why did America reinstate selling of alcohol? Because why? They can make money off of it. This is why. They have the ability to make money off of it, and even though alcoholism kills so many people. They say alcoholism is one of the leading killers. Automobile accidents, fights and shootings, liver disease, and so on and so forth. But a democratic society doesn't care. But I guarantee you, if you go into a Muslim land where the Sharia is being practiced, I guarantee you that there is a low level of liver disease. How many people have you seen in drunk driving related accidents in a Muslim country? Think about it. But we have been bamboozled to accept whatever the government gives us. And it's sad, but it is what it is. So the Sheikh goes on to say, but as for the one who nominates himself or nominates other in the system in order to commit and enjoin good and forbid evil and establish proof against them and reduce its evil and corruption as much as he can, so that people of corruption and disbelief in Allah will not have free reign to spread mischief in the land and spoils people's worldly interests and religious commitments. This is a matter that is subject to ijtihad. According to the interest that is hope will be served by that. Now the word ijtihad means meaning the people, the scholars, not us, the scholars come together and they make a rule. One more time, tell me what you get from that, inshallah. What do you get from that, from here? But as for those who nominate.
But as for the one who nominates himself as in this system in order to join the parliament and enjoin good and forbid evil and establish proof against them and reduce its evil and corruption as much as he can, so that people of corruption and disbelievers in Allah will not have free reign to spread mischief in the land and spoil people's worldly interests and religious commitment. This is a matter that is subject to ijtihad, according to the interest that it is hoped will be served by that.
So what do you get from that, right? That statement, inshallah?
What I get is that what's the motivation behind the individual? If that motive is for everything that was just listed there, then the one who decides to nominate himself or nominate another inside that same democratic system.
So the Sheikh seems, at this point, he seems to be saying that it's based on your niyat to stop an evil.
Right.
You know, let me get in the system to stop an evil.
And so some scholars are even of the view that getting involved in these elections is obligatory. When Sheikh Muhammad ibn Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, was asked about the ruling on elections, and he replied, I think that elections are obligatory. We should appoint the one who we think is good, because if the good people abstain, who will take their place? Evil people will take their place, or neutral people in whom there is neither good nor evil, but they follow everyone who makes noise. So we have no choice but to choose those who we think are fit. But this seems to be the strongest. This seems to be the strongest, view, which is what you read before, which is what it said. Undoubtedly, the democratic system is one of the modern forms of shirking in terms of obedience and following or legislation, as it denies the sovereignty of the creator and his absolute right to issue laws and ascribe that right to human beings. Allah says, you do not worship besides him, but only names which you have named, forged, you and your fathers, put down no authority. The command or the judgment is for none but Allah. He has commanded that you worship none but him. That is the true straight religion, but most men know not.
Well, let's finish reading, because I want to see from here, because this is still Sheikh Munajid speaking. Munajid is speaking about what Sheikh Uthaymeen. And if anyone knows who Sheikh Uthaymeen was one of the greatest scholars of our time. He was one of the greatest scholars of our time, and Allah knows best.
If someone were to say, we chose someone, but most of the parliament are not like that. Matter. If Allah blesses this one person and enables him to speak the truth in this parliament, he will undoubtedly have an effect. But what we need is to be sincere towards Allah, and the problem is that we rely too much on physical means and we do not listen to what Allah says. So nominate the one who you see is good and put your trust in Allah. End quote.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Reading both of the Sheikh's positions on this, I'm going to go back to a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and I'm just going to paraphrase because I don't want, the hadith is kind of lengthy. But the Prophet ﷺ said, if there is a gray matter, he said, stay away from it. He said the haram is clear and the halal is clear. But between those two are gray matters. Whoever stays away from the gray matters safeguards his religion. Now, I want to bring out a point, inshallah. Here it is. An individual with good intentions. Maybe he gets elected. Maybe he gets into office. But in this society, in this political system that we have, he's only going to be able to go but so far. And then on top of that, I can about guarantee you he's going to start compromising. He's going to start compromising.
You mean he's going to fall into the evil?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we know this evil here.
Well,
we've been in this evil too long.
He's going to fall into the evil. And we can look at the example of someone, and I really don't want to use.
Don't say no names, then.
Okay.
Just give the situation, inshallah.
You gave a situation earlier, just not too long ago, about the stance against Kalmalu. Okay? The people's life. You gave a clear point in reference, and we see that there was some backpedaling, and the stance changed.
How was that?
Okay. For 1 minute he was against it. The next minute he was for it. And then after that, Time magazine put his face on the magazine with the rainbow halo over his head.
They did.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, hold on, before we jump into that, inshallah, we gotta take a break, inshallah. And we'll be back to discuss. We'd like to hear from some of our callers. You call in if you got anything to say or some rebuttal or what you might think, inshallah. We're not asking you to give a fatwa or nothing like that, but we know it does affect our lives, inshallah. So we'd like to hear from you. We're going to take a quick break, and that's the hard truth.
Yeah. Right.
Looking for a quality used car? Look no further than Spectrum Motor One, 3238 Westerville Road, Columbus, Ohio, 43221. Not only does Spectrum offer good quality cars, but also a nationwide warranty, 30-point inspection, 5-year pay year, 0 interest, as well as halal Islamic financing. Call Spectrum 814-477-4388 or email them at spectrummotor1@gmail.com. And if you tell them Muhammad Hard Truth sent you, expect a 30% discount. And that's the hard truth.
Furniture Land, located at 1395 North Road, Columbus, Ohio, 43229. Furniture Land, Ohio offers the most beautiful furniture for a beautiful price. We're enjoyable. We stand behind their products. Quality, service, and great deals are what they stand for. Call them at 614-447-8505 or email them at FurnitureLandOhio2@ymail.com. And if you tell them Muhammad Hard Truth sent you, you will get 10% off the purchase, inshallah. And that's the hard truth.
Alhamdulillah. Now, what would you say, Akhi, inshallah, before we went to the break?
I just was saying that they had put that halo over his head with the it was the rainbow, you know, the same flag, rainbow colors that the Kamalut people, the people of Lot, that they have as a banner.
I wonder if it's tied in to that girl's song, the Halo.
Oh, I don't know.
I wonder if it's tied.
I don't know. But it's just the fact that they kind of did it like, you know, calling him an angel or a saint or whatever. How they, but you know, and then they put the halo like you're the, you know, the. How can you?
You know, I never understood. This is supposed to be a Christian country. You know, they had deemed it a Christian country. I forgot what year it was.
And then, I think the what was deep about it was they actually had on the heading the first openly gay president. They had that on the heading. Had his,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do you expect from non-Muslim anyway? What do you expect? You know, they're only going to do, because I mean, it's like this. It's very simple. You're not going to have no understanding. If you had the understanding, then you'll be Muslim, inshallah. You know, and that's the bottom line. So, inshallah, let's go to the next part. See what the Sheikh says on that, inshallah.
Okay. Well, the scholars of the Standing Committee for issuing fatwas were asked, is it permissible to vote in elections and nominate people for them? Please note that our country is ruled according to something other than that which Allah revealed. They replied, it is not permissible for a Muslim to nominate himself in the hope that he can become which rules according to something other than that which Allah has revealed and operates according to something other than the Sharia of Islam.
And the Sharia is, for people who don't know, it is the law of Allah. The law of Allah legislated, inshallah.
It is not permissible for a Muslim to vote for him or for anyone else who will work in that government unless the one who nominates himself or those who vote for him hope that by getting involved in that, they will be able to change the system to one that operates according to the Sharia of Islam. And they are using this as a means to overcome the system of government, provided that the one who nominates himself will not accept any position after being elected except one that does not go against Islamic Sharia.
Now, that's almost impossible. That last part.
Which last part?
Does not put itself in position of anything.
Will not accept any position after being elected except one that does not go against Islamic Sharia?
Yeah.
How is that impossible?
Well, because from what I'm understanding from this, he's saying that if he gets into position, it has to be a position that will not go against the Sharia.
Okay,
That's
we're not
what I'm
having
reading, right?
compromise. We're not having compromise Sharia.
Okay, so let's keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
A war breaks out,
Mm-hmm.
and this person is asked to sign his name on whatever they have signed to this Muslim country and kill these Muslims. And here you are sitting in the same circle of these individuals who are saying we're killing these Muslims in the name of whatever they want to call it.
In the name of Taghut.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, whatever they want to call it. What I'm saying is whatever they want to call it.
Okay.
Because we all know it's always an underlying reason. It's always an undermining reason why we as Americans. I'm going to keep it honest with you. Here in America, we don't help nobody. We don't attack nobody unless it's something we can get out of it. And that trickles down from the top all the way to the bottom. And when I mean the bottom, I'm talking about the street level. Usually people don't help nobody nowadays unless it's something they can get out of it.
They say, what's in it for me?
Exactly.
Exactly.
I'm not saying all people are like that, but the majority of people are like that. You know, you have the mentality of what is that saying that people have? Or they call them haters, you know, you don't want to see nobody come up, you know, the crabs in the barrel type thing, you know, the whole, all that. Where do you think that people get it from? They get it from those in power. Think about it. Here we had for years the apartheid in South Africa. We had the military might to go over there and probably shut it down. Why didn't we go?
Shut what down?
Shut down apartheid, all the racism and all that. Why didn't if America was so big on standing up for justice and helping people and so on and so forth, why did we turn on our Chrysler tanks, you know, get our Russian-made jets and our Chinese technology and go over there and free those people? Because there was nothing in it for us. There's nothing in it for us.
Well, in addition to that, there's a pact that was made with all European nations that they would not fight against one another and kill one another.
Wow.
There is a pact that is made.
What was that called? I remember that.
Between these so-called major European powers that they will not go against one another, kill one another. And that is the reason why you have what you have. That's why they wasn't going in the 80s. In the 80s, when apartheid was going on, they wasn't going to go over there and deal with that. They was trying to get them drugs and stuff and deal with South America.
South America.
You know, trying to get Panama and Colombia and all that. You know, so, you know, something that's in it for them, you know, subhanAllah. So, I mean, what you're saying is exactly the truth, but also understand there's also another underlying aspect to it, another component to it, which is they had a pact. They're not going to do nothing to them Dutch.
Well, you know what the pact is?
Yeah.
The pact is an underlying let's control the world. Let's control the world. Listen, we're going to divide this thing up. We're going over here. You guys go over there. And we'll, you know.
Right. Like the Great African Divide.
Yeah.
We're not
going to step on each other's toes.
And that's what they did. You had Italy up in Libya, you know, down there in Ethiopia.
Somalia.
You know, and then you look up, you got the French that's over there, you know, in Morocco. You know, so yeah.
The Portuguese all over in that area. Truly amazing.
Dealing with the Great African Divide is no different. You know, figuring out how they can slice and dice.
It's like a cake. It's like a big old cake.
An agreement. There's all these darker parts of the planet that we can go in and pillage and take from. And when I say that, I'm talking about whether they over there, the British is over in India, colonializing them, or whatever other part of whatever of the continent you might decide to pick where there's darker people. That's what you're going to have.
You know.
So you have there, you know, and I hate to turn it like that, Afi, but the truth is the truth.
It's the hard truth.
And so there's a racial component to it. There's a racial component to it, whether we want to admit it or not, whether, you know, that's what it is. Component to it, there's a underbelly that's very, you know, it's despicable.
Well, I mean, it's not something that's hidden anymore.
We're gonna preserve our life at the expense of yours.
Even we have had white individuals come on our show and speak about this. Remember, we had Eric with the abortion. We had a lady on Facebook who spoke about white Jesus, and she was a white lady, saying how the white Jesus was used to control people. You know, the bottom line is we have to, as Muslims, be able to see through the lies of Shaitan, recognize the lies of Shaitan, and not only that, we cannot follow in their footsteps. Because when we follow in their footsteps with racism, with democratic governments, and so on and so forth, guess what? And not only are we going to fail, we're going to earn what? The anger of Allah. I mean, it is what it is. There's no way to curve it and salt it or sugar it down. It is what it is. We're going to earn or incur the anger and the wrath of Allah. Allah says in the Quran that every dynasty or every civilization reaches its dynasty, and Allah destroys them. Brothers and sisters, me personally, I am afraid.
Be afraid.
I am afraid because our society that we live in here in America has every problem, every immoral behavior, every trial and fitna that every prophet has went through. You give me show me one thing that a prophet didn't have to deal with that doesn't exist right now. Show me one thing, just one.
It's all compiled.
It's all here now. It's like somebody just poured it all. Oh yeah, well, y'all got that off of the past, but now here we got this. And it's all compiled. So if Allah Azza destroy the people for worshiping Tagut, destroy the people for sleeping with their own people, whatever they slept with, their own sexes. If Allah Azza destroy the people for using magic, and look at what we live in now. We live in all that. And then what's amazing is the people who live in Muslim countries.
And medicine too.
Yes, and the medicine. Oh, the medicine these guys are mad scientists. These are witch doctors. They're not even regular doctors anymore. They don't want to just take what Allah said in the Quran. They want to go ahead and cut you open. You know, give you private parts you didn't have. And you see the plugs they do now. They put the plugs so you can have whiskers. Sharpen the teeth.
Yeah.
People want to like cats.
Yeah, running around. Yeah, I've seen some.
You want to meow. You know, you want to meow.
Wrong with you?
You want to meow. I mean, you know, show. What kind of freaky crap is that? You know,
it's despicable, is what it is, Akhi. It is this. It's highly just.
But my point is, Akhi. My point is,
SubhanAllah.
Allah destroyed them for this.
Yeah.
And here it is. We're living in all of it. Not one of them, not two of them, but all of it.
Yeah. But you know, Akhi, some years back I had read where it was talking about how this society has taken from all the past empires. You know, and Compile them. Yeah, you know, from
You
Greece
mean like
to Roman,
like the knowledge of how they
Persia,
how they was able to run their empires.
that, and then the filthy elements that were there, you know, which is a part of their way, such as, you know, here in this country, you hear the word senator,
Mm-hmm.
and this comes from directly from the Roman Empire, you know. And then when you think about it, everybody in the Senate, Akhi, shave their faces, man. To me, that just, I mean, like, it's like it's almost like you can't get in there unless you do that. Like, that's like a.
Now I could be wrong, but from my learning of the senators of ancient Rome and all that, when they had the Congress, you know, they would all get naked. All the men would get naked and be in
You know,
a bath together. And a lot of us,
I don't know.
A lot of best, you know,
SubhanAllah.
They were considered to be filthy men.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those best wasn't was studying stuff, you know.
They that's where the whole, it doesn't stem from there, but we know that the practices of the people have flowed down and through and was mimicked by the Roman Empire. And those senators had boys.
Yeah, they had boys.
Astaghfirullah. So you know, this man it's just disgusting.
And we hate to talk about it like this,
it's
but
disgusting.
We got to give it to you like this so you can understand what is democracy. This all stems from democracy. It all stems from the democratic system. That's what it stems from. I mean,
where the majority rule, and if the majority are filthy people, then guess what? You living in a filthy society.
Man,
period.
You must just throw away your ivory, throw away your dove, and just get some soot from the bottom of the doggone fireplace, and with somebody urine on, and go ahead and just, you know, wash up under y'all. Just wipe it all over yourself. You might as well just be filthy. Yes.
In a slop.
Maybe the pigs will be cleaner than them. You know, the thing is, which I don't understand, is how the people leave these Muslim countries. They leave them. Yeah, maybe your country is war torn. Maybe your country has a fitna, some type of fitna going on. But guess what?
It's nowhere near as great as the fitna that you will experience in this society.
And I would never leave. Like if I'm in a country that's war torn, you know, and if you don't want to get involved in a war, go somewhere else. Don't leave a Muslim land to come to a disbeliever land. And then when they get here, you know, it's
they forget.
You know, and I pledge allegiance to the United States, you know, all that rhetoric. And they leave off their Islam. And what's my ayat always say? وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ.
Not be like
forgot Allah. And Allah calls them to forget their own selves. Da, 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 da,
I spoke with a brother who, he didn't tell me where he was from. He looked at me and he asked me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Here." And he said, "Wow, I thought you were from Malaysia or somewhere like that." And then he said, "I had a chance to make Hajj twice. And you see what I do now." And what he was doing was selling khamr.
Hold on. He went to Hajj?
Listen to what I just told you. He said, he asked me, have I had a chance to leave and go to Mecca? And I said to him, I said, no, not yet, but inshallah, it's my intention to do that. He said, oh, and he got to telling me about it. He said, you know, you don't have nothing to worry about. You get fed, you this, you that, you know. It's, you know, it's beautiful. I went to Hajj twice, and this is what you see what I do now. And I mean, I just like, wow, you know,
Mind blowing.
it is because
Mind blowing.
I read that when one goes to Hajj, it is like when you return, when you're done with Hajj, if you do everything correctly, it is as if you are like a newborn baby.
Yes.
All over again.
Man, could you imagine that?
So man, so with that being said, and I remember years ago, someone was explaining to me, trying to give me an analogy that I could relate to, coming from this society and this being a Christian Judeo society. Hajj for the Muslim is what the baptism for the Christian is, when the Christian calls himself getting baptized.
No.
And I said, wow, you know, because they believe that when that happens, when they submerge their whole body in water, you know, make a ghusl, you know,
take a bath.
Yeah, take a bath, something, you know, you ghusl, you know, at least every Friday.
I'm always immersing myself in
at least every Friday now, you know what I mean? Alhamdulillah. So my point in saying that is that, but this Hajj, if you do it correctly, then all your sins, you know, are forgiven, and it's like you're starting all over again, new slate. Okay, all right. For him to say he went not once but twice, and then to be like, and you see what I do now. It was just. I
mean, why did he say that part? That's what I figured out. Why
he had to say that part. He had to say that. Well, of course. I mean, you know, standing there, you know, he's talking to me, you know, and I get it. He's not from here. His face is, as you know, looks like
a baby's butt.
John Kerry. You know what I'm saying? Subhanallah.
John Kerry.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Out of all the people to say, you said John.
Yeah, because you know, Subhanallah. But you get what I
like John Kerry.
You get my point. You know what I'm saying?
Get shot one time or something.
Nah, I don't think so. But my point is, I think, you know, has taken on the imitation of a way other than what the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has legislated. You know what I mean? So we'll just leave it at that.
We got to take a break, inshallah. I think we are behind because we should be here.
Oh, we already did that.
We did?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Positive.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So we're going to take a break, and that's the hard truth.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
I keep saying Subhanallah. You enjoy it. MashaAllah.
International Market is direct line from town. 504 Cleveland Avenue, Columbus, Ohio. All you guys need for the clothing and gold season.
Alhamdulillah. I told my wife yesterday. Like he's supposed to.
Yeah, I told you.
But alhamdulillah. So inshallah, I didn't know we were this late. I didn't know we ran over this, and I cannot stay late tonight. I'm sorry, y'all, because I'm leaving town tomorrow, inshallah, and I have to spend as much time with my wife before I leave town because we need that time together.
Alhamdulillah.
We're gonna leave it at that. Inshallah, we're gonna leave it at that. But inshallah, we will be in Atlanta. Not Monday, well, not just Monday, not just Tuesday, not just Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday. We're gonna be
bringing you the hot,
uncut, inshallah.
unbiased.
Bringing it to the people, inshallah, in the ATL.
MashaAllah.
Hopefully we will have a lot of listeners and a lot of support for the hard truth and Asking Muslim. We want to remind the people that our show is brought to you by Asking Muslim. You know, if you want to learn about them, don't run and ask CNN and Fox News, the avid haters of Islam. It's like they were put in place to be an attack on Islam. Well, guess what? CNN and Fox, the hard truth is here to be, has been put in place to do battle with you. And we're going to bring that hot, inshallah. So if we say anything tonight that was offensive, something tonight that was wrong, something tonight that was immoral, outside of a Muslim's character, then we ask that you forgive us and pray to Allah alone that He forgives us. And if we said anything tonight that was inspiring, that makes you want to become a better Muslim or makes you want to become Muslim, then verily all the praises due to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika wa shalla la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. We are out of here. That's the hard truth. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Alhamdulillah. And you know I love you.
Alhamdulillah. Put you on blast.
No, there you go.
Let's get out of here, inshallah. Way up there, huh?
I walk out for the whole 2 hours. I say, you heard me. You heard they made an announcement last year, collect some money from,